What is up, Wizards fans? Welcome into another Believe in Wizards podcast. I'm Matt Modderno. He's Jahadi White. This is the Believe in Wizards show, like we talked about, so we're going to talk about the Wizards. No shock there. Jahadi, I just want to start a little bit more abstract instead of doing like game recaps and stuff. Just some things that are out in the Twitter sphere a little bit with respect to the Wizards. There's like an anti-Sarr contingent out there that's seemingly attributing some of their defensive struggles to him. I don't think that's the case. To me, when I watch, I see it's the majority of the perimeter defense. I want to get your take on that in a second, but I want to lead with one stat I thought was particularly interesting. This comes from Point Made Basketball. So no one in the league has had to defend more shots at the rim than Alex Sarr, who has defended 145 field goal attempts from within 6 feet of the rim. The next highest in the league are Evan Mobley at 83 and Nikola Vucevic at 80. So again, Sarr 145, and then those two are 83 and 80 for second and third. So Sarr's had to defend off more attacks than anyone and still holding players to 53% around the rim. That's 11.8% lower than should be expected based on that many attempts, and that's lower than Jaren Jackson at 57% and Evan Mobley at also around 57%. So what's your take on the Wizards defense and what's really causing the trouble? And is it Alex Sarr?
It's no, it's not Alex Sarr. But
That's where I'm at too.
Sometimes, so first of all, I think it's that we're not closing in the lanes. So we're not closing the avenues to the basket down early.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the problem is that they're seeing avenues.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, even if I see an avenue, and most players in the NBA, they're good enough that where they see an avenue, they usually can pass.
Yeah.
They usually can pass up the perimeter defender.
Mm-hmm.
So can our perimeter defending become better, or could it be better? Yes,
Yeah.
right. But the problem is shot blockers, it's a gift and a curse sometimes. First of all, it's a curse because they know that you're behind them and they're going to depend on you to protect them every time. So that makes the perimeter players not play as well, right? Or not defend as well. Another thing about a shot blocker is I'm always going to go for the shot instead of getting there early and closing down the lane. So So now Sarr knows, okay, I'm getting at least 2 to 3 blocks per game. I'm going to go for the block.
Yep.
Well, that's fine, but that means there's going to be at least 4 to 5 more shots that you're not blocking, or you're not getting the block.
Nobody's picking his man up ever either. There's no
rotation. Right, and then then no one's helping the helper.
Yep.
So my problem, what I see is that we're not being proactive. We're being reactive, right? So take away the lane, then everything goes away, right? If I fill in the gap first in the lane before the guy ever gets to the point to where he gets close to me or gets close to the basket, maybe I don't get a block, but also I don't get a lane touch. So it's both.
You always hear coaches talk about, I want 5 men on a string and we've got to move together in unison. I feel like you never really see that with the Wizards. They don't look particularly, I don't know if disjointed is the bad thing. They don't look particularly jointed in a good way. It's just a lot of like reactionary, like you said, one guy trying to do his thing. And sometimes you get a guy like Kyshawn will come over and get a hand on a ball, or Trey will or have a steal, or Cam Whitmore will shoot the gap, but it never seems like this very like in sync 5-man unit to me.
No, because it doesn't seem like that, but it's also because the new age basketball, they swing the ball so fast.
Yeah, it's harder to do that.
Right, so it's much harder to fill the gap, but it's still the same principle. You had to stick by those same principles. It's just the ball swings so fast now, it makes the normal defensive principles, you worry about it. So now if I'm a defender, I'm more like, I know I'm supposed to be on the lane line, like filling that imaginary line, touching the nail if the ball is on the weak side, on the opposite side. But
Mhm.
They may swing this so fast. I'm gonna have to cheat it a little bit further
And then
away.
I look bad if my guy shoots 3 off of it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's how they're thinking. So what's happened now is lane gaps open. It's that the game is moving fast. They're playing more freer. So and now they're depending on Sarr. So now Sarr saying, okay, I'm sticking with my man just like everybody else is. But I know I'm a shot blocker. I know I'm long enough I can protect this rim, right? But I'm not going to get all of those. So now, like I said, instead of being preventative, right, we're reacting. And most reactions are late, especially in a game this fast.
It's nice to be able to react when you have to. You don't want to lean on that as being like your main defensive approach is like that's everything. Like Sarr having the talent that he can default to that is great. But the perimeter guys, in my opinion, have to be able to like sync up. And what we just talked about there is a lot of like trust and I feel like accountability. And like we as fans don't really know what they're being told, specifically to do in each instance against each team and each, offensive strategy. But the general principles are pretty straightforward here. And, like we may see, oh, this guy got beat on the weak side because his man hit a 3 when they swung the ball. But they should know amongst themselves that that was actually the first guy's fault, not the guy 3 people downstream. And
right.
They got to play for each other a little bit more on that end. Not to sound too cliche, but that's what defense is.
I mean, you go back to fundamentals, 5th grade, learning to play when everybody would just tie string on every player and you just move. I mean, honestly, it's still the same concept, but just how fast. What I see now, instead of guys doing that, though, they're more reaching or they're more leading the guy into another guy.
Right. Yeah, you're funneling him towards some other guy
there. Yeah, it's there. So I see that a lot too. Or, I mean, one thing I am noticing that Detroit did well with Sarr is they had a game plan for him. It's for just a defensive game plan for him. Take away his left. Take away his left because he's going to go left and he's going to spin back right. On the spin back right, as he's spinning back, another help defender comes in and taps the ball. Or stops him on a spin, right? So, and so now you can do that as well. Just,
As somebody who never blocked any shots, I have no experience with this, but you are an experienced shot blocker here, so I want to get your take on this a little bit. For anybody who doesn't remember, Jahadi averaged a block and a half a game for the Wizards and 2 with Georgetown, so the man knows what he's talking about here. When you can block a shot, how hard is it to find that balance of like, I should go get this, or like, I'm better suited to let them take this tougher shot and make sure my guy doesn't get the rebound?
So just because you can block a shot, and when I'm blocking shots, I'm not thinking about my shot blocking stats, right? So I'm not saying I would rather them get to the rim and I block it than I fill the gap, right? So, but if I'm late filling the gap, I still have a better chance of blocking the shot. So, in the end of the day, filling the gap still has to be the first priority and second priority. Third priority. Shot blocking has to be the 4th or 5th, right? And so that's the issue is that sometimes guys who are late shot blocking or who are good shot blocking guys just are late because they know, okay, it's not that they're not trying to fill the gap. It's just they know that if the ball still gets close to the rim, I have still a good chance of protecting the rim.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another thing that's just kind of this is a totally me bothered by thing. Like this is not out there, but Kyshawn George, for as good as he's been this season, and he's back, he had like a little like down spell there where it looked like guys maybe were starting to figure some things out. And now he's having a better stretch again. But the free throw shooting is just weird to me, Jahadi. Like I don't understand. Like there are certain guys when they can't shoot free throws, it's like, all right, I'm not really surprised by that. Like, but he's a guy that's got good touch. Like he's shooting 44% from 3 this year, but is shooting 66.7% from the line. And I noticed this again in the Detroit game. He was 3 of 4, so like it wasn't that big of a deal, but he seems to, and like the Boston game, he was 3 of 5. It just seems to be a situation where he misses the back end of the free throw every time, and it almost always looks to me like he's rushed. Like I make the first one and I'm hurried back up to the line and I'm shooting the next one. Is this a thing you're worried about at all, or is this just someone needs to settle him down, give him a routine, make him take a little more time, a big deep breath? Like, what do you think's going on here with the free throws?
I see it a lot when the guys usually miss the back end of the free throw. And what it is they're more concentrated, they're more zoned in, and they do all the breaths and concentrate on the first one and then get their stroke down. They see the first one go in. Now the second one is just rushed. Or what I see most of the time is they're leaving the line before they finish their follow through. You know, one thing about free throws, you know, especially me, I can really talk about this. This is not a natural game shot.
Yeah, you're never going to be flat-footed, not moving with no one contesting you.
You don't really jump. You know, it's all upper body strength. You know, it's you dribbling, not in motion. It's not it's not a rhythm shot. So everybody say it's too easy. You get 2 easy shots and they free shots. You know, Kyshawn George can shoot a jumper.
Sure,
he can shoot a 15-footer.
He's really good at that particular shot during the game. You know, that distance
free
shot.
throws aren't the same thing.
Yeah,
you know, they're not. They're just, you know, you're flat-footed. So, you know, it's a lot of guys who actually are really good shooters in the game that don't have the best free throw percentage, right? So it's different. It's not always about touch, you know. It's more about how much do I put my legs in there? How much I don't use my legs? How much force do I use with my upper body? How much I don't, you know, because more free throws sometimes is more of aiming. Like it's like playing pool, you know.
It's forced a little bit, right?
It's forced more. It's more of a throw than a shot.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and the good guys, the guys who perfect it, they perfect it. So do I think he'll get better at it? Yes. Most guys who start off in this league, you know, mid 60s, 65, they always get better. Because first of all, most times they get an incentive in their contract where if you make, you know, that's always great motivation, getting that free throw incentive in the next contract. So they usually get better.
I was wondering if some of it could have been like fatigue of just, hey, I went from a low usage guy last year to now all of a sudden this year, like I'm initiating offense. I'm like one of our main scorers. He's only playing about 4 or 5 more minutes per game this year, but they're a lot heavier workload minutes. He's got to also play both ends of the floor. So I thought maybe that could be some of it, but I think it's just what we talk about. It looks a little mental to me, like they could get this in check pretty quickly. And for a guy like him, he should get to the line a decent amount. He's got that kind of herky-jerkiness to him. Yeah. It's a good way to draw some fouls, and I thought he started off the year doing that pretty well. Like, he's cooled off a little bit in terms of just actually getting to the line here, but, you know, if you're not getting there a ton, you got to actually make them when you get there. So I'm hopeful that, you know, we see more of those.
The thing about Kyshawn, and he's young, when you get around your 4th, 5th year in the league, you start to learn how to break your game down into points per quarter, right? So let me get at least 5. Let me get at least 6 regular points. I have to get at least 4 from the free throw line, right? So, and then they break that down per quarter, right? You know, and at the end of the day, I have 20, 25 points, however it goes, right? And they're like, 10 of those 20 should be free throws, right? Yeah. So now you become a free throw baiter. So now he has a game where he's baiting, and it's not even about always making the shot. It's about getting to the free throw line. When he gets to that point, he's going to understand just how important free throws are. Yeah. Right. That's when those free throws are really going to be crucial to the point where I'm not miss or make one free throw in the game is going to be intense for him. It's going to be the big difference to where he's going to work on that.
I think for him too, it'll help his regular shooting over time too. You always talk about getting a few easy ones, get some rhythm. When you don't get to the line that much too, it's a little tougher of like, okay, I might only shoot 2 all game. I can't afford to miss one of them. And then you kind of force yourself into missing one of them. But Locked on Law said in the chat, stop picking up bad fouls, Kyshawn. I would definitely agree with that one. That's just we've talked about it maybe last episode or the episode before, but in his last couple games against Houston, he had 4 fouls. Against Detroit, he had 5 fouls out against Dallas. The game before that against Boston, he had 5. Game before that against the Knicks, only 1, and then the game before that against the Magic, 5. He's got 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 4 before that. So just every game he's going to get at least 4 fouls, if not 5, pretty much guaranteed. And we saw this with Denny. I think it's a guy that'll settle in. He's trying to be active. He's trying to be aggressive on that end. It's just you got to figure out what you can't do. So I think we'll get there.
Yeah, I think it's more to it. You got to realize
Okay.
with Kyshawn, these last 3 to 4 games, he's been defending the team's primary score.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's learning, right? When you're defending the team's primary score, his mindset right now is let me try to shut down as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Shut him down as many things as possible. I then went through the film. I see what he does. I'm gonna shut it down.
Yeah.
That don't mean you can't shut everything down.
Yeah, you got to make him work. That's all.
You got to make him work, and some things you just got to. All right, he got it.
Yeah.
Right. I have to stay.
Too good.
I have to stay in the game too. He wants to stop everything.
Yeah.
So when it's something where he say, "Oh, I'm in a pickle. I know I'm about to get in trouble," he's swinging down at the ball. Can't let him. Hey, you just got to wall up and let it be what it is. May he miss it. May hopefully he miss it. But right now, I see with Kyshawn, he's trying to stop everything. And primary scorers on teams are very smart. You don't become a team's primary scorer in the NBA unless you know all the tricks of the trade and more. So he's young. He's going to get caught up in all the tricks of the trade. You just have to keep the hands up. Sometimes you just got to be like, you know what? I did a good job keeping my hands straight up, and hopefully you miss.
If you slap down on certain guys, whether you hit them or not, sometimes it's
just hard not to slap down on guys because you see the ball and
they're teasing you with it a little bit. That's a bait.
The ball is right in front of your face, not knowing that the person is actually doing it on purpose to you.
Exactly. That's the thing. Once that clicks for him that this guy is trying to get me to do this, knowing that ref is going to think it looks like a foul, even if it isn't. But I think that's great experience for him too, because it goes back to the getting to the free throw line thing. You'll learn more about those tricks and steal little pieces for yourself as you go over time here too. And I think
he just don't realize he's getting baited.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to get baited every time. I mean, the first bait leads to a second bait, leads to another worse one, leads to the harder foul. It's and these guys are smart. They're very cerebral. They play it against the best. The best are defending them every night. The best defenders in the league are defending them every night. They have too many tricks. Sometimes you just have to play straight good defense and let it be what it is.
And this is like sometimes it's better to lose the battle to win the war kind of situation. Yeah. Because if you give up that foul instead of the one basket, you've got to come out. The next guy coming off the bench is probably not going to be as good defensively as you are, and the team is worse off for it too. So I think at some point they'll get that value proposition through to them of just like, we cannot afford to have you sit down. And also, you've talked about with stats, like even the most unselfish guy, if I'm not playing, I can't collect stats. I can't get my next contract. Like all these other things will start to click over time here too. CJ McCollum. I have been negative about CJ just from I like him as a player. Gave me my favorite college basketball experience that's not Maryland related when he beat Duke while he was still at Lehigh. We'll always love him for that because I was in that arena for that game. But I think Jahadi, like at some point, they need to try to move CJ, in my opinion, and see if they can get something for him. And I just wonder at what point do they either start making calls to shop him or really start entertaining calls? Because every team in the league, they know what they are like signing up for with CJ McCollum at this point in his career. Like in his last 5 games, he's had 10 points, 42 points, 25 points, 25 points, and 3 points. So it's a little more up and down than it used to be, but he can still absolutely go off in certain situations. He can still get hot. He can still win you a game. If you're a playoff team and you need a little punch off the bench or, just a guy that you don't need to score a ton of points, like I don't know how you make the money work, but like Milwaukee or somebody like that could use another scorer shooter and has the defensive infrastructure to make up for him. Like there's a lot of teams I think would benefit from having a guy like that. And I think by the second half of the year, I'd love to just see more of those reps go to the young guys. And while he's on this team, they're never going to like go away from him completely. So I don't know. If you're another team watching this, or is there one thing you're waiting for from CJ McCollum at this point before you're ready to pull the trigger? Like he's such he is what he is at this point, guy. Like it's pretty obvious, I think.
I mean, you're not going to get a better CJ McCollum than you get now.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly but let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Were you surprised that he got 45? Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that he got 45 against Detroit?
Honestly, no.
Why not?
Because he is a bucket. And when like the 2 games leading up to it, it looked like he found a little bit of a rhythm. He looked like he had his legs. And I think for older players, it's just harder to do it consistently. So you're going to get a 3 and a 45 or a 10 and a 25. It's just not going to be 22 every night like it used to be.
Exactly. Right. So the thing is, in the end of the day, when it's all said and done, he's still CJ.
Yeah.
Right. He's still CJ. He still can go out there and get you buckets. He had to get warm, figure it out. And then sometimes he can have bad games. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you go get CJ to expect more from him. You go get CJ to expect the CJ he is. And that's still a lot.
Sure. Still a good player.
Right. So my thing is, do we need a younger point guard? Yeah. But do we need a leader? Yeah. It's most likely you're not always going to get those two in the same thing. That's because think about, it's only a few young good point guards out there now. I mean, they were growing to it, but it's the good point guards, that floor generals that change the game are really, it's not many. Like we got rid of Van Fleet, right?
Yep.
And then you saw, what he was really capable of doing at Houston, right? Mm-hmm. So now I don't think you go right away and get rid of CJ.
I don't think they should be in a rush to get rid of him. I just think at the deadline, he's going to get moved, whether it's a buy. What?
What are you going to replace him with? Name me another guard out there we can get.
We're not gonna get another guard for the second half of the year.
You're not going to have a floor general.
But he does not want to be here. Like he does not want to be 20.
That's where he is. This is NBA. He's not.
Jahadi, make you a bet right now. They're either buying him out at the deadline or trading him. He will not be on this team the second half of the year. So you can't afford to buy him out.
But at this point in his career, he's in the league.
Oh, 100%. That's what I mean.
He got to realize that too. Like, and then maybe by this point, by that point of, when they decide if they want to, he may have a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
at 34, I promise he does not want to end his career on the 18 best case scenario win Wizards. I've got like one more run in me with a team, like real run. Yeah. Can I get on Denver, or can I go get on the Lakers or whoever it may be? So it's like, if he's gonna want to move and you need to free up some minutes for other guys anyway, or not need to free up, but it wouldn't hurt you to give those reps the second half of the year when you're trying to lose anyway to some of these other dudes. At some point, like, you got to get max return on value. And the longer an older guy plays on our team, the more I worry about, like, does he get hurt? Or does he, like, this dude's one hamstring pull away from tanking any potential trade value he could have. No, and I'm, like, totally with you, right? Like, if you're going to get a second round pick and you have to take on a bad contract to do it, I'd be in no hurry to dump him at that point. But if teams are looking around and just saw him put up, 50 points against a playoff team, like 45 points against a playoff team, and have any interest, I would take whatever I could get and strike while the iron is hot.
I understand that, but I just feel like as far as point guards go,
He's still pretty solid. I'm
Yeah,
not.
he's solid,
Yeah.
and you really don't really have anybody else out there right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
that's just my
especially
opinion.
with the way Bubs looked, it would be
Yeah,
tough to ask him to totally
because
fill
what you do
those
when
minutes
you
for sure.
go, who's going to be the point?
It would be
Trey or
some
Bo, right?
combo. It would be Bub, Trey, and maybe more
Yeah,
Keyshawn on ball
yeah.
reps. Or you
So
go get some other buyout guy, a Tyus Jones, or some,
mhm.
somebody that ends up on the market that's not going to do much for you either. Yeah, that's a good point. If you had a veteran backup like that could maybe fill the gap a little bit, because I do think the best way to evaluate your other young guys is by putting them next to a solid player that actually, takes some offensive attention and can set some guys up. And so I do think he helps the other young guys by making them kind of slot into their natural positions too. So that's a good
Yeah,
counterpoint. All right. So just along those lines, eventually they probably will move on from CJ. There's some guys on this roster that probably aren't here long term. Like Chris Middleton is probably not a long term piece here. They've got some holes to fill. When you look at this roster, knowing that there's probably let's fingers crossed, a top 5 pick on the way next year, what type of player? And I'm not saying they should draft for fit or anything like that, but all things being equal, what's the role you want to see them play? What's the type of player you think most maximizes where this group goes longer term?
I think we need a solid point
Okay.
facilitator, young, very cerebral type of point guard, floor general leader,
Mm-hmm.
and we need a physical point forward.
Okay, like that. Of the freshman class this year in college basketball, which it's probably the best freshman class I can remember, maybe this century, like at least in the last decade, I think, in terms of like guys 1 through 8 are pretty good here. Uh, I don't know if you've seen these guys on the circuit at all, Jahadi, but have you seen Michael Brown play that's at Louisville
Some I have. I
or
saw
any
him
of
the
the
other
Team
day
USA
against
stuff?
Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly. He went
Mm-hmm.
nuts.
Yeah, he went nuts. He did look good.
He's probably somewhere in that top 5 ish conversation, somewhere 3 through 6 potentially. Like he's a guy that makes a lot of sense to me from a fit perspective, especially if they don't get one of the top couple of Peterson, DeBonsa, or the top couple prospects. So I think that makes sense. Caleb Wilson, the power forward at North Carolina, dropped 24 and 11 or whatever on Kansas the other night. And he's a point forward type, crazy athletic. I think he's somebody Will Dawkins would get excited about. And obviously there's Cameron Boozer, who is essentially a rugged point forward, who I think is probably the guy that's the single best fit next to Alex Sarr of anybody that they could potentially draft in terms of like complementary skill sets. So I don't know, any of those names stand out to you more than others as somebody you'd most like to see them try to
I
lock in on.
definitely Cam Boozer.
Yeah.
Definitely Cam Boozer because he's like you said, a rugged point forward that you can really play through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially if you can play through them, bring the ball up, do a lot of different versatile things.
Yep.
As far as just with the game, and you have a good big, and you got a rugged point forward. Because the thing with Sarr sometimes is when he meets those rugged type of centers, he struggles a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? So now we have another body that we can utilize in there, right? I think they could be physical. I think it'd be perfect. So we still, even if we did get a rugged point forward like a Boozer, we still gonna need a point guard.
Yeah, exactly. That needs to be. I think whichever one you draft, the guy you go after in free agency is the other position, and I would be trying to invest in a good young somebody when you can get any of those other guys. And Noah asked in the chat, why would we take Boozer over DeBonsa or Wilson? Well, I don't think that's what we're saying. We're just talking about archetype player anyway. You take whoever's at the top of your board, but that don't act like Caleb.
I would take Boozer over DeBonsa or Wilson. Reason being is the team makeup, right?
The fit definitely makes a lot of sense with him, but just in general, there's a reason Cam Boozer is top 3 on pretty much every board in the world. So us saying that either way wouldn't be crazy. But I think you need to just see how these guys play out over the course of the year. And Like there's been some things with Boozer. He hasn't been particularly good shooting the ball so far, but it's still really early. Like that'll get better. Even the best players need to figure out college basketball, but like he is the guy they created the he's a winner cliche for. Like you have 4 high school titles, you win every Peach Jam, like the dude's got gold medals. Like at some point, this dude wins at every single thing he does has to matter on a basketball court. And being good at basketball is like, in my opinion, a very underrated thing in the draft process every year.
Being a winner is a very underrated thing, especially because being a winner is infectious.
Mm-hmm.
It's infectious, and not everybody is a winner. A lot of great players.
It comes with accountability too, right? Like I don't take losing lightly because I don't do that shit. We don't lose here anymore.
Right.
And you don't win that much without good winning habits too. And I mean, year 3 of the tank, like, do we pick up some bad losing habits? Like that is a thing I worry about. So bringing dudes that are just like, nah, we're not about that shit, I think will actually benefit them.
Right. I agree. I mean, certain guys just say, I won't accept it ever. I'm not accepting losing. I'm not accepting you being a loser. I'm not accepting you being okay with it. I'm not accepting you giving not enough effort to make sure we win. When that happens, that accountability in the locker room happens. Without the coaches, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just, I've never been associated with losing, and we won't be associated with losing here too. And there's a lot of other guys in the chat here talking about it's got to be, DeBatsa or Peterson or whatever. They're all crazy talented. Like whoever the Wizards get, like this would be the year they could survive falling to 6 in the draft, and I'd still feel really good about the guy they end up with. Like Caleb Wilson was shot out of a cannon in that Kansas game the other night. He looked incredible, and that's another dude that's won at the FIBA level and all kinds of other stuff here too. So it's not like you'd be settling.
No matter what guy we get, they have to be themselves and really be able to light up the scoreboard, but they can't take away from the other good players.
I agree.
Right. And Boozer just seems more mature.
Yeah.
And more understands the game in that
it's like a Tim Duncan vibe. Like he's got that kind of like
because when you're a winner, you consider the entire big picture frame of things.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just trying to get to the league and light up the league, you think about yourself, right? So, and just because you get in the league and you score 30 don't mean you're a winner.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying he may be, and not saying these other guys aren't, they're just not proven.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the Peterson one, like I think he's incredible, and just like in a vacuum offensive firepower he would give us would be amazing. It would make everybody else's life better, and he does try to defend. He does run offense well for a guy that's probably more of a 2 than a 1. But the like cramping thing 5 games in and missing entire games because you cramped in warmups before the game is a little weird to me. And then some of their comments around it, I just can't see Cameron Boozer taking an entire game off because he didn't want to potentially risk being sore from coming back from a cramp kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? There's just a different kind of vibe of like, I get you got to protect your money, but there are also just certain guys that like, yeah, I'll go out there on a bum ankle, draft stock be damned, because I can't. I'm not going to sit out that much. Yeah, exactly. Like Boozer gives me that
I refuse to play like miss a game while the popcorn pop. Right.
Exactly. Even if it's a game
like
we're going to win easily.
I'd rather play a game any day than be in practice. You know, I skip practice if I got to skip something.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's just a mentality.
Yeah. So I mean, they'll get the cramp thing under control. Like Paolo Banchero had that for the first week or two at Duke. Cooper Flagg had a cramp game. Like that's just you probably didn't have to do things like hydrate all that well in high school to go out and dominate guys. And now college basketball is just different. Like it's a business now, and like you gotta step your game up, and they'll get him on the right diet or the right supplements or whatever, or he'll be taking magnesium or I don't know, whatever it is, but it'll work.
You have to be a pro in college now.
Yeah. Some pickle juice, you know.
Like now, college isn't college. You now have to be a pro in college, so you have to treat yourself as such, and you just got to learn how to treat yourself that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think of anybody, a blue blood program like Kansas will have the resources and infrastructure in place to help someone like that figure it out. So, Johnny, your sons are a little younger than these guys, but any of these freshman guys, have you seen DeBonta or Peterson or any of them in person?
Yeah, my son played against most of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay,
said,
I
no, I
didn't
mean,
know.
you see these guys, you always see
I
them,
knew
you
they'd
know.
be out on the circuit, but I didn't know if
Yeah,
if it
yeah, they played
overlapped
it.
with
My
them or not.
son played against the Bonsa
Okay.
2 years ago, like two summers ago.
What's
He
the
played for the
take?
Oakland Soldiers.
What's your thought? Any takeaway on his game so far?
I like it. I mean, it's nothing spectacular looking wise, but
Mm-hmm.
it's effective.
Yeah.
It's effective. You know, it's not. You're not going ooh and ah over his game, but when you look at the stat sheet at the end, he did work.
Yeah, he could just cardio his way into 27 and 4.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seems like
but he's
every game.
skilled. But the
Yeah.
skills, it doesn't look.
Yeah.
It looks slow, and it looks
Mm-hmm.
like it's not. It doesn't look as sharp as you think it should.
Yeah, the handle's a little loose
But just like
sometimes.
Cooper Flag don't look that sharp,
That's
but
true.
he's effective. Yeah. And I think the Bonsa is kind of like that. He's not as physical, but he will light it up. And what's the best attribute about the Bonsa's game is he's going to be the most confident player on that court. And you know, confidence is like 90% of it. And that's the best thing about him is you're not going to make him believe less than himself as a less player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a dude that was like, top of his class for basically the last 4 years, and is like everybody's been giving him his best shot for years, and he's still bringing it. So that's that says a lot about him too. Wizards are off until Sunday, so it's nice that they get a little couple day break here. They'll play the Nets at 6 p.m. That is the battle of the bad right now. The Wizards are 1-11. That's an 8.3% winning percentage. We've lost 10 in a row now. Indiana is right there at 1-11 also, but Brooklyn is just barely behind at 1-10, which is a 9% winning percentage. Next is New Orleans at 4. They're 2-9. They owe their pick to Atlanta. And then you have Sacramento. And then here's Dallas sitting at 3-9. It's not looking good. Kyrie Irving will not be back here for a bit still. It looks like you may actually have Anthony Davis on the shelf here for a little bit. They have no other guards. Like, that might be, Nico Harrison just got fired. That might be the blow it up situation. And it would not shock me if Dallas was in the market for another number 1 overall pick again. Just by the end of the season here.
Yeah, on paper, Dallas team looked perfect. I mean, it looked like Nico did you thought maybe he didn't make a mistake by getting rid of Luka.
And getting Flag in there helped immediately.
Getting Flag in there, then you had AD, you got to have Kyrie, but just injuries over injuries. You really haven't had Kyrie. AD is, he's just nonstop injuries. He can't just seem like he can't just get a streak of healthiness. And so it will shake anybody's job. So yeah, Dallas just, I don't know. I was just surprised about how Dallas turned out. I'm surprised about how Cooper Flag is playing. I mean, he's still scoring about 15 points a game, but when it's all on your shoulders, like right coming, usually it's. I'm not surprised that he's scoring 15. Right? Why? Because you can just let everybody else beat us. Right? So now he has to work 3 times as hard, which is not bad as a rookie, but it's too much pounding on his body too early.
The thing I just don't get with that whole situation is they knew Kyrie was going to miss the first half of the season and made no real attempt to replace him in any meaningful way. It was like, yeah, D'Angelo Russell, he'll be fine for us. And just the way he'd looked the year before, they weren't even starting him. So Cooper Flag at point guard as a rookie, surrounded by 3 other forwards and a center. Like, I just feel like you were setting yourself up for that to fail by not that you can replace Kyrie, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's an all NBA level guy when he's healthy, like, but just there had to be some other plan B there just to like bridge the gap. Like, if I were that, I would have gone out and tried to get CJ McCollum from somebody or something like that. I don't know.
Because I don't know if you stifling Flag.
That's what I wonder about too, of forcing him to be the bring the ball up across half court guy and throw it to everyone else, and then
Because he plays well off the ball. That's one of his biggest attributes is playing well off the ball. Just as much as he plays, he plays, but he's not a bring the ball up guy, hit you with some in and outs, move and stop. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
Now it does help to add to his game, but it also takes away at this time all the other things that he does really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the ultimate connective guy. Like he would be great with some shooters and some open lanes to slash through, not clear out for me to ISO and create for everyone else on the team. Like that's why Duke lost the national championship basically, is because they had no one else that could do that but him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't prepared to do that. So I don't know. That's really all I got. Jahadi, any other talking points or anything you want to touch on or things you've seen from this group the last couple weeks?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Oh, right. Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not admitting it yet, but I may.
Okay.
I may be stood corrected.
Oh, okay.
About Cam.
Cam Whitmore. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not admitting it yet. We still have to see.
Sure.
Still have to see. I like that he's coming around. What I really like most of all, the less unselfish he's becoming, the more points he's getting.
Funny how that works, right? It's like what we saw with Sarr. I mean, hey, I'm scoring around the hoop. Now I'm getting more open threes. Like Whitmore, I'm passing the ball. Now I'm getting more open looks back. Huh. If you see it work out for you and you have success doing it, smart guy is going to start doing it more often. So I'm with you. I hope that's the case. But to be fair to you and us as a show, we liked the trade a ton when it happened. We both admitted he was crazy talented. We didn't like the way he was playing after the first week or so of the season, which I think is just fair to say. There was a reason he wasn't getting real run for a week or so there. But, he goes off between Boston and Cleveland, he plays 13 total minutes and has 2 total points. And since then, 7 of 13 against Dallas, 19 points, and was pretty just solid defensively, I would say, for stretches of that game. Against Detroit, 6 of 11, 20 minutes. And then against Houston the other night, 5 of 9 against, he got a little over his skis against his old team a couple times, but 11 points, still solid. Like, he at least looks like a productive contributing member of this group moving forward, and I'll definitely take that.
Yep, I agree.
All right, everybody, let us know what you think in the comments. Where you at with Cam Whitmore? We'll talk about anything else you want on the show next time, so always drop us a line. Appreciate you guys. Rate, review, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us, and we will catch y'all next time.
Peace.